I'm good.
All right, we'll start with Jorge. Jorge, go ahead.
Hey, we'll start with Jorge. Jorge, go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Jorge, how are you?
Good. And yourself? Congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
The last win was October 2nd of 2022 versus Nashville. Congratulations on getting your first MLS away win. And for the first time it's the Dynamo's first time beating LAFC at BMO Stadium. I've got to compliment your tactics specifically for tonight. What was the mentality coming into, LA and after crushing them 4-0 at Shell Energy?
Well, we knew there would be a real response from them. It's no fun losing 4-0. I've done that plenty of times, and usually there's a real response, and I think they had a real response. I thought they were sharp on the ball and had really good energy, physicality, and it's just a very tough place to play. So we were ready for that, and I thought the guys give them a lot of credit for the mentality that they had. We gave them a lot of the ball. They earned a lot of the ball. Again, their ball movement was better than us on the night, but our defensive shape was just fantastic. The willingness to cover the next guy, the way we shifted, just the overall effort and selflessness that the players gave tonight to keep a shutout in one of the toughest places to keep a shutout in the country was again, it was just a lot of brave performances, a lot of selfless performances, and we get a goal. Some set piece stuff, we were pretty good, dangerous all night long. We still could have had more in transition moments if we were a little cleaner. So overall, that it was always going to probably look like that tonight. And the field here is it's terrible, and I think that lent to a kind of a scrappy game. You can't see it kind of from probably on TV, but the field it's rough, and so it wasn't a game where we thought we could build in our usual fashion, and we were more direct at times, more transition. But again, that's what the game needed, and again, just proud of the guys for holding up. A box defending was great. The back four was amazing. Mika Dos Santos had a great game. Eric, Daniel Steres filled in once again for us in a kind of an unnatural position, and Griffin Dorsey, who some of his first minutes was his first start of the year, went 90 in a difficult place and held up very well too. So overall, good night. Thrilled to get back-to-back wins, in particular against such a great team.
Along with that, what the referee tell you in the 44th minute before the half, and was that yellow card issued to you or someone else on the bench?
Believe it or not, the yellow card was not issued to me, and I know that's been a rare thing lately. So fortunately, it went somewhere else on the bench. I'm not going to tell you who. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I don't know what he said. I think they can. The refs continue to have thin skin here. I don't know. It's what it is. It's I guess I have to adapt to these guys taking just emotional coaches. It's like you can't have emotion on the sidelines. I don't understand it. Just ignore us and know that this part of the game. We're passionate, and we make gestures, and it's physical, and sometimes it's I think it's better off if they just ignore us sometimes, but those are the rules.
Also, were you able to review Aliu's goal? Do you believe Bassi was offside?
From what I hear, he was onside, but I haven't reviewed it. But by all accounts, he's onside, and that's frustrating, especially when they're looking at it. I'm assuming they have the technology, but that's a big moment. And if we give one up late to a tie, I'm probably sitting here screaming and yelling. But we won, and it didn't really end up affecting the 3 points. So it's not a big deal. But again, they looked at it a long time, so hopefully they got it right. But from what I hear, it was onside.
Thank you so much, Coach. Like I said, love the transitions, love the tactics. You finally get some rest. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thanks.
Jonathan, go ahead.
Hey Ben, thanks for the time as always. At various points this year, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, you've spoken about the growth of this club, getting the kind of core of Houston Dynamo back, and fans buying into what you all are doing, etc. 2 wins back to back against LAFC is probably I think it's fair to say, a big step in that direction. They were in a Champions League final 2 weeks ago. How do you take stock of that? Any reflections on just this period for this club and what you guys are building?
I think you said it. It gives us a little bit more buy-in of what we're doing here. Is at least we're moving in the right direction, right? We have to take a lot of this with a grain of salt, but not too much with a grain of salt, right? And also understand what we can do here, both as a staff and an organization, but also these players, and belief is a big deal in this league, and getting some results against a major team like LA. They're missing a lot of guys, no doubt, but so are we. We missed a few, and we had to reach into our bench as well. That belief goes a long way. Goes into buy into what we're selling as a staff, which is important, because you can sell and sell and sell, but if you don't get results, it's hard to keep selling. And hopefully we were able to win in different ways, and I think that's also important for the makeup of our group, coming here and really grinding and making sure we're tough to break down, good in transition moments, still not clean enough to kind of stick the knife in and chip in on some set pieces to help you win games. But then at home, at times we're able to build and play a different type of style, depending on the opponent and depending on the circumstances. So that's really healthy. But we got a lot of work to do. This game could have went the other way fairly quickly, and but we held the fort well, and just proud of them.
One just follow up being, you all are at the halfway mark of the regular season now with 24 points. That puts you at 6th in the West. Where do you feel, I imagine similar themes emerge in your response to that question, but taking stock of at the 50% mark, where the Dynamo are
we want to be above the line at all times, and but right now in the West, it's crazy. Everybody's on 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. They're all in the same spot. So you win one, you keep moving, you stay above the line, you lose one, and a few teams win, you're below the line. So it's very, very crowded. And I like that there's, I think that creates a real urgency that we need right now. And I felt that with the guys today. I think we understood the challenge. Coming off of a big win, we knew they would respond, and again, winning in a different way tonight was I think an exciting thing for us, because this is really one of the first victories we've had where we've just buckled down, and we're like, you're not scoring tonight, and we'll try to grab you in transition or grab you on a set piece, and so it was a different type of win for us. But you need those, especially against really good opponents like LA.
Thank you. Safe travels. I'll let Pedro pass it along to
Thanks.
whoever comes next.
Thiago, go ahead.
Thanks, Coach. Hi, Coach. Good night. Thiago Brandão from Território MLS Brasil. Congratulations on today's victory. Houston got 3 big wins after 2 pretty bad games. What was the secret to this change in the team performance in the 3 last matches? In the last 3 matches?
I'd point to our defending, and because we scored goals, in the Vancouver match, and we played good offensively, but it just weren't pragmatic enough on the defending and not tough enough. And we just didn't outwork the opponent on the defensive end. And I think the last couple games, we just, the want was there. The effort was, superior to the other team. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question, but I think defensively the last couple games we were pretty sound and looked a little bit more like the team we were earlier in the year when we were tough to score on.
Mikael scored his first goal for Houston, and I want you to tell how do you rate the performance of the Brazilian defender?
Well, he was the man of the match for me. I wish I could give it to the entire back line. They all put in a really good shift, but he was great. And then he also was man of the match last game. Gave him 2 balls. He's going to have a collection. He's been when Teenage went down, we were extremely worried because we didn't have necessarily we didn't know what how Mika was going to fill that role. Those are big shoes to fill, and he's come in and done a very good job on defensively, and each game he's growing offensively and what we want to do and how we want to build and making good decisions. So you can see him growing in confidence. He's a great athlete. He's putting out a lot of fires for us, and his box defending was really good tonight as well. So he was great.
And one last question: when you were a player, Beckham was at Los Angeles Galaxy, and you face him, and now he's the owners of Inter Miami, and you could face Messi as a manager. What are your expectations of the player and his impact on the league?
Well, I think it's fantastic. I don't think there's any losers in him coming to this league. I think it's wonderful in so many areas, right? Obviously, the business side I'm not an expert on, but I'm sure that's going to help recruitment of players, the importance of the league, the exposure. But it's a tough task. I mean, they still have to build a really good team for him, and they got their work cut out for him in Miami. And but as far as the pouring gasoline on this league to push this a little bit further, and again with greater exposure, and obviously one of the greatest players of all times. Traveling around, hitting these great stadiums, and our fans in this country being exposed to him and his greatness is, I think it's wonderful. But it's not an easy league, and it'll be interesting to see how he adapts. And Miami builds the team around him, and it's a great challenge for him, and it's gonna be fun to watch.
Thanks, Coach.
Sam, go ahead.
All right, Coach. Congratulations.
Hi, Sam.
Yeah, Sam Africa Sports Network. Yeah, like you said earlier, the game could have gone either way, but thank God, Dynamo took out the 3 points. You are the first MLS team to win at the BMO in the space of 4 days. You have scored the champions by 5 goals, first road win for your team, and to get it at the home of the champions. I mean, when you were looking at the clock and your team took the early lead, what was your mindset like?
Sam, one more time. What was our mindset when?
When your team took the 4th early lead and the clock was, going down, and you see your team defending and playing, well, trying to get this 3 point. What was your mindset like?
Sam, my stomach hurt. My stomach hurt out there. Yeah, it's not. Listen, it's never fun absorbing that much pressure as a manager. But there's a certain comfort you have when I think a back four is playing in that way. Your team is in a selfless way, understanding the moments that they need to be there for. The overloads are covered. and everybody's giving everything to be in good spots to make sure you get out of there with a win. I would have loved to get the second goal and have a little bit more possession at times, but that's not how the game was playing out. And the field was terrible again. It was a hard game to really connect passes in. We'd love to hit them in transition and make it 2-0. But again, in the end, 1-0, I thought we defended very, very well. Selfless collective defending, and proud of that performance. But we actually did score another goal. He was on sides. So I'll make sure I say that again.
All right. Now, finally, the team is in the US Open Cup semis and gradually climbing the Western Conference table, and goals from two unlikely scorers, Escobar and the guy that scored tonight, myself. What does that say about the depth in your squad?
Well, I a lot of people complain about having so many games. As a coach, it's nice because you're forced to constantly maneuver the group and get guys in there to test them and build depth. And it also builds the right chemistry when guys come in and that haven't gotten a lot of minutes and do well. It does bring the group a little bit closer, and it increases your depth and your trust in players when you see them do well for you on the stage. But again, there's a certain, players want to feel like they're a part of something. And when you're moving the group in and out, and you have a lot of games, and you're forced to play 15, 16 different players, if you can have some success within that period, I really do think it can create good bonds and a good culture.
Once again, congratulations, coach.
All right, Sam. Thanks.
And shout out to our golden boy, Ali Ibrahim.
Joey, go ahead.
Joey.
Hey, Ben.
Hi.
What has changed within Nelson Quinones that's kind of brought this kind of raise in his level of performance over the last few games?
Yeah. We see it, right? We see the talent all the time in training, right? We've seen it, and so we're not necessarily surprised at the offensive production and how scary he is in isolation and his ability to affect the game on the offensive end. What we're asking more of him constantly is, heightening his professionalism, the way he goes about the game, in particular on the defensive end, and his responsibility when the ball turns over. We ask a lot of our wide midfielders to the way we defend. They've got to do a lot of work, and he's really kind of turned over a new leaf and really understood that that's going to be the way he gets on the field, and that's something he has to do if he's going to stay in the lineup. And he's got a great engine. He's instinctually, he's a pretty good presser of the ball, but we're just waiting for him to show us that he can put a real shift in defensively, and he's doing that. And then again, he gives us a really just a different element that we haven't had, or we didn't have early in the season, and it's someone they have to really be concerned with. When they have the ball, they have to actively defend him. If they're loose on him and they get caught in isolations, he's got the juice to put you on your heels and produce some final product. And so he's really helped us be more of a dangerous team. And again, he's given a real honest shift on the defensive side. Him and Ibrahim have really kind of pushed us offensively, and since Ibrahim has come as well, really stretching the line. He hasn't gotten his goal yet in the league play, but he's done so much good for this team. And so we've had a few additions. Eric Sviatchenko has really helped in the he's sitting right here, so I gotta kind of talk good about him. He's done a great job of got a real voice, and he's a real leader for this team. So these additions are starting to really kind of find their way within the fabric of the team and help push us along.
With Griffin Dorsey, his first start since the second game of the season. What could you say on his performance today?
Who?
Griffin Dorsey.
You know, Griff's a great teammate, and he's a guy you root for, and you constantly. He just is such a glue piece for this club, and people don't really see that from the outside. So to see him get his minutes was special because he hasn't gotten the minutes that he's wanted this year. He's selfless. He said, "Look, if I'm not playing these minutes, I got to get better, and I want to go get some D2 games." And he went down there. He played a good game. He got fit, and he's a guy that gives everything at training, and just a real classy teammate. And it was just great to show some faith in him, and he returned it and did a really good job. There was some moments in the second half, first half late, we were exposed down that left side. We were a little bit of trouble, but I thought we made some. After halftime, I think we were much more solid in both corners of the field. I thought Corey came in and did a really good job of helping out over there with Griffin to make sure he wasn't isolated or in 2v1 situations. So yeah, he was great.
And again, we see Mikel in the center, and then Steres going out to left back. The other week against was a Vancouver and St. Louis. It was Mikel at left back and Steres in the middle. What led to that change?
Well, I just thought last game Eric and Mikael were just so solid, and right now I view them as having a really good relationship and a really good pairing. I didn't want to move them, so Ethan could have came in and we could have pushed Mika out wide left, but again, it was the center back partnership is such a big piece that if it's going well, it's hard to move that. So that's where Daniel comes in, and with Franco Escobar out, we needed someone that can stretch the field but also do the work defensively. And we talk about next man up, and that's Griffin was the next guy up.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Ben. Congratulations on the win.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Ben, thank you very much. We'll be right back here with Dynamo players. All right, everyone, we're going to start here with Dynamo captain Hector Herrera. We'll keep this in Spanish. Héctor, ¿qué sacas de ese resultado de hoy y esa victoria, la segunda consecutiva sobre LAFC?
Yo creo que lo más importante es la victoria y nuestra primera victoria fuera de casa. Muy importante, ¿no? Es verdad que por partes del partido no dominamos, pero fuimos un equipo fuerte, compacto y fuerte sólidamente. Creo que eso es lo más importante, y creo que ese es el camino cuando juguemos fuera de casa, ¿no? Que nos había costado muchísimo conseguir una victoria.
Gracias por eso. Vamos a seguir con Jorge. Jorge, adelante.
Hola, Héctor.
Hola.
Muchas felicidades por el triunfo.
Gracias.
¿Cómo se sintió a tomar una diferente posición, presionando mucho, subiendo? ¿Cómo se siente usted?
Bien, yo creo que como equipo hay que estar preparado, hay que estar mentalizado y preparado para jugar en cualquier posición que te toque, ¿no? Poder dar lo mejor de ti. Es verdad que la posición no la desconozco, lo he jugado muchas veces. En Porto jugaba mucho en esa posición y bueno, no es algo nuevo para mí, ¿no? Contento con el triunfo del equipo, con el desempeño de todos y bueno, hay que seguir por ese camino.
¿Cómo se sintió cuando quitó la pelota del portero? Trató de buscar a un compañero, pero ¿qué más podría hacer usted, verdad?
Yo intento siempre hacer daño y intento aprovecharme de las oportunidades, vi que podía robarle la pelota, que podía presionarle, si no era para tapar el despeje, para robarla como la robé, ¿no? A lo mejor podía haber tirado, pero yo siempre lo he dicho que en mí nunca voy a ser egoísta. Intenté a lo mejor buscar un compañero que venía cerrando, capaz que podía haber disparado o otra cosa, pero nada, contento con lo que hemos hecho el día de hoy.
Y la última vez que el Dynamo ganó fuera de casa fue contra Nashville, donde ustedes ganaron 2-1. Usted participó en ese juego. Eh, ¿qué significa eso a usted y al equipo?
Eso es historia. El día de hoy estamos en otro torneo, un torneo nuevo en el cual queremos ser competitivos, queremos ser un equipo protagonista en la liga. Poco a poco lo estamos logrando, poco a poco estamos mostrando una versión mejor de nosotros, una versión más competitiva, y eso es lo que más nos importa, ¿no? Los 3 puntos de hoy son, creo que, muy importantísimos, y un triunfo que lo necesitábamos, ¿no? Porque no teníamos ninguno fuera, y que más contra el campeón, contra el mejor equipo de la liga, a mi punto de vista, la mejor plantilla. Es verdad que ya tienen muchas bajas, y bueno, creo que hay que estar contentos, descansar y prepararnos para lo que se viene por delante, ¿no? Que no es un calendario fácil.
Gracias, Héctor. Felicidades otra vez.
De nada.
Víctor, adelante.
Héctor, ya a la mitad del calendario, ¿cómo se siente, cómo se evalúa el equipo a mitad del camino?
No, yo creo que hemos hecho una buena primera parte, ¿no? Hemos empezado más o menos, después nos hemos acomodado bien. Y bueno, lo que todos sabemos, ¿no? Los partidos fuera de casa nos habían estado costando mucho. El día de hoy conseguimos ser un equipo fuerte defensivamente, compacto, y aprovechar la oportunidad que tuvimos adelante, y creo que pudimos haber aprovechado una que otra por ahí clara, ¿no? Es una buena primera parte, pero falta mucho campeonato. Hay que estar mentalizados, preparados y enfocados en el objetivo, ¿no?
Eh, las charlas de medio tiempo, ¿es algo que fue tu idea? ¿Cómo sale esto de las charlas al medio tiempo que pues ya se ha visto costumbre en los partidos?
Sí, ha sido un poco mi idea, y creo que es una cuestión que yo he vivido mucho tanto en selección como en Porto, en el Atlético. Creo que es una manera de transmitir la unión. Muchas veces se habla de alguna de las cosas que estamos haciendo bien o lo que estamos haciendo mal, lo que tenemos que seguir haciendo. Y creo que es una manera de demostrar que estamos unidos, que estamos fuertes, y que queremos competir, ¿no? Al final de cuentas, es un equipo de 11 y más jugadores que están en el banco, que tenemos que estar en la misma, ¿no? Entonces, la verdad que estoy muy contento porque el equipo lo ha aceptado muy bien. La gente, ahora no soy el único que pide juntarse, y eso a mí me alegra muchísimo, y yo quiero dejar un legado, quiero dejar una mística en el club, y creo que esa es una de las cosas que se van haciendo bien, ¿no? Entonces esperemos que sigamos en ese camino, y juntos, ¿no? Sobre todo.
Gracias.
Nada.
Vamos a terminar aquí con Tiago. Tiago, adelante.
Buenas noches, Héctor. Felicitaciones por la victoria hoy. Houston venía de los dos malos partidos ante St. Louis y Vancouver. ¿Cómo cambió la mentalidad del equipo y consiguió 3 importantes victorias consecutivas?
Es verdad, como tú dices, ¿no? Nosotros habíamos hecho, a mi punto de vista y mi manera de ver el fútbol, 2 partidos malos, donde no fuimos fuertes defensivamente, no estuvimos en nuestro mejor momento con la pelota. eso es una de las cosas que yo resalto del equipo, ¿no? Siempre que tiene un golpe duro, siempre da una buena respuesta, ¿no? Tanto en el partido mismo, a veces cuando se va perdiendo, el equipo siempre reacciona bien y creo que eso es la mentalidad del grupo, la unión del grupo y la fortaleza de nuestra casa, ¿no? Porque después de esas 2 derrotas hemos jugado en casa, hemos hecho un partidazo contra el LA y el día de hoy capaz no ha sido el mejor partido, pero hemos sido muy fuertes defensivamente, hemos sabido aprovechar las oportunidades que tuvimos y al final de cuentas creo que fuera de casa es lo más importante, ¿no? Y hemos sabido controlar la fortaleza de ellos, ¿no?
All right, guys, we're going to finish with that one.
Con
Thank you very
esta-
much for joining us. We'll have media resources later today. This is Hector.
Gracias, chicos.